really don't know. As much as I would appreciate Cindy more, RNA is just there, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dice Bags Entertainment Podcast. I'm your host, TwitchShadowVO, today with our usual co-host, Super VA.
I gotta get it!
Yeah, there we go. We are also joined today by the Tired Geek.
Hey, howdy ho.
So today's going to be a little bit different because we don't have our usual people, that being Zach, Boom, or Rage, mostly because we're a lot cooler than they are, and
mega cool,
and also this totally wasn't a last minute planned podcast episode that I forgot to post.
Fuck it, we ball?
Because fuck it, we ball, and also I didn't post it in the fucking podcast thing. Anyways, hello everybody. I'm not at Dungeons and Dragons this week. Instead, I'm recording a podcast. For the people that are,
if that wasn't evident,
if that wasn't evident, also the people that would be offended by that, if they're listening to this, bite me.
Go suck a lemon.
No, I'm just kidding. So today we got a little bit of gaming news to talk about. A little bit of discussions that we're going to go through, starting with the Nintendo Switch 2. Subaki, what's your thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2?
It's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Okay.
Not
only.
Oh, okay. I am in a dangerous place. I think I might just leave now.
Anyways, go on, Subaki.
Okay. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Not only does the Switch 2 get a exclusive FromSoft title that is the closest we'll ever fucking get to a Bloodborne 2, it also single-handedly made us cackle our fucking asses off by straight up having GameCube emulator on NSO.
They knew what their base wanted.
And they were just like, nah, we putting this only on the Switch too. And I'm like, you sons of bitches.
Yep. Anyways, what do you think of the Switch 2 so far, Tired Geek?
I'm afraid I might die if I say what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Nah,
no,
don't
I
be.
think from what I've been looking into on it, there. I mean, like obviously, it's just meant to be the a 2. It is literally the first 2 that Nintendo's technically done.
Yeah.
And it's very odd to their form comparative to everything else. And like it is throwing a lot of people off. And I mean, for all we know, is it really worth the big price hike that it'll have? Who knows?
This second edition feels more like a DS going to a DSi than a DSi going to a 3DS. You know what I mean?
I can see what you mean by that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an increase overall, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like a new generation, if that makes sense. It just feels like it feels like what a lot of people were asking for. It just feels like a Nintendo Switch Pro, essentially.
Basically, yeah. I could see that 100%.
Yeah. Shall we get to the elephant in the room? About the
Sorry, I'm not that fat. Come on.
Okay. Let's get to the elephant in the room. The price point. The introductory price announced. So for Americans, that is $449.99. For our Australian fellow, that's $699 dues. And then for Canadians, that's 629 Chuck bucks.
Yeah.
See, I still laugh when y'all have the currency called Looney Tunes.
Yeah. We call them Chuck bucks now because it has Prince or King Charles on it.
King Chuck.
King Chuck.
Yeah.
So now they are Chuck bucks. I'm not sure if the UK calls them Chuck bucks, but Canada, we've coined the term Chuck buck right now. We still call them like loonies and toonies still.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of Americans laugh. But anyways, So the 449 price point or the 450 price point for Americans is most likely what it's not going to be.
No,
Thanks
it's
to
tariffs.
because of tariffs and geopolitics.
Yes.
So
Recent fucking shit that I can only describe as what in the Metal Gear Rising are we living in right now?
yeah,
I'm staying away from anything political, but I'll say you're just be happy you're not attached to that part of the world.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
other than Metal Gear Rising, which our geopolitical situation is looking worse and worse day by day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at expensive video games from now in the future, because what a lot of people are saying is this new price point of like $90 for a game is like now that Nintendo has also followed suit of what the PS5 and the Series X has been doing, that is most likely going to be the new norm.
Which is very wrong, and yet at the same time, it's just like I still remember, even though I was not around for the time when that was the case, when the NES cartridges were $60,
Yeah.
and of course, even then, that's just like it's one thing to get a $250 console then with a $60 game.
Yeah.
That was different.
Mhm.
Nowadays, the cost of the dollar has gone down so fucking much that your buying power is so dramatically decreased because of how little your dollar matters anymore.
Mhm.
Ain't that
And
the truth?
that's like a trend for like just like the economy, like the world economy right now is like doing pretty fucking horrible. Now, that being said, there are probably European countries out there and like other countries that are actually like not doing completely bad, but Western countries like America and Canada, it ain't looking too hot right now.
No, not.
Not so much.
And we're not gonna get into like leader politics or anything like that because that's just not what this podcast is about today.
Not at all.
Not at all. So Subaki, we were talking a little bit about not Bloodborne 2. You want to go a little bit into that?
Okay, so Dark Bloods. That fucking game looks cool, but they lock it on the Switch too. No other console has it. Not even PC's getting it. And the aesthetics are a more steampunk inspired Bloodborne set in genuine UK. It's actually in London. Big Ben's right fucking there.
Not implied London, but actual London.
But actual London.
Actual fucking London.
So, yeah. I mean, like, I dig it. What I was noticing most upon the gameplay side of things was that it looks more like it's gonna play kind of like an Elden Ring or a Dark Souls title, not so much a Bloodborne. Because it doesn't look like it shares the, what is that called? Like the parrying that Bloodborne has. You know what I mean? Like yeah. It doesn't look like it shares that kind of mechanics. It looks more like a generalized FromSoft title.
So here's hoping that it's not worth as much, so you don't have to feel like you missed out on something.
I'm still gonna get it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, yeah, the price point is gonna suck, especially if you're American, because of tariffs. It's gonna be more than the current price. What it looks like.
Look,
but
the only time I'm gonna buy a Switch 2 is if Monolith Soft makes a whole ass new game set for like Xenoblade or something. I don't mind at all if it's like, oh, I thought Xenoblade 3 was the finale. Maybe.
But you see, we still found ways to make money out of it, so we wanted to keep making money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
new story.
I mean, it's literally if Monolith Soft makes a game, I might consider buying the Switch too, because as much as people want them to come back to make like a Xenogears remake or Xenosaga remake, they're gonna have to try to make Nintendo and Sony cooperate for a little bit to even make it possible for them to maybe toss in Steam.
And
as an
Sony
option.
cooperating with people doesn't happen very often.
I'm pissed off at them still. While Microsoft over there in the corner giving out everything.
You want to know what really grinds my gears about the new Switch?
What is it,
Would
Peter?
be.
You want to know what really grinds my gears? Is the fact that the Switch 2, despite all that they've done to the Switch 1, they went back to LCD. What the fuck? Like, they just had OLED models for the Switch 1. Why not continue with the fucking trend? I mean, at least for that price point, you know what I mean?
It makes sense.
They could have, like, if they would have stuck with it, it would have been, you know, it would have kind of justified the cost.
Having worked in retail as long as I have, if I may make a suggestion on why it's like that, it's so that down the road, they can sell you the OLED version of that
Yeah.
for an even higher price. It happens quite often, sadly.
It does just kind of
Also,
rock the world a little bit.
Rage Rio would be extremely happy to know that they did announce, because he thought this was dead. He thought this was dead in the tracks because of the lack of updates. They released another trailer for Metroid Prime.
And Silk Song.
Yeah. So he should be pretty happy about that. I know he was looking forward to Metroid Prime 4 a lot. I mean, me too. I mean, it's not like my game of the year interest right now, but I was definitely, like, I had my eye on that one. Going further down for the games for the new console, we got Mario Kart World, which looks pretty good.
From what I've seen, yeah, it looks really interesting. I think I saw some scenes that look like it's taking place in the Breath of the Wild world too.
Nice.
So, like, there's a picture I saw that was they were sitting in like the grasslands of the Breath of the Wild.
I don't think that's in Breath of the Wild. I think what that was is because it's very open worldy, the Mario Kart World thing. I think what that was just a grassy area of the Mario Kart world.
Maybe I was just being hopeful. I don't know.
You might have just been helpful, because as far as I know, I don't see like any cross-platform characters on that one yet. At least not that I've seen from like some of the gameplay. But yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know.
They'll probably add them down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same thing with that they did with the last one, where they just had long-term DLCs coming up.
Yeah. Anything else anybody want to say about Mario Kart World before we move along?
No,
Not
I
necessarily.
said what I wanted to.
Yeah. I just like that it's like there's an open world aspect to it. And apparently
It's interesting, for sure.
You could cruise around with your friends in the open world too, which I think is pretty nice.
It took them so long to think of that concept.
Yeah. Moving on down, we got Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yes.
It's a Donkey Kong title.
I'll wait until I see more to do with it and such like that before I really say anything. Because I haven't played a Donkey Kong game since, what was that one for Switch and Wii U? Is Arctic something or other like that? Or
Oh, yeah.
Arctic Freeze.
Winter Freeze, yeah, the Freeze one, yeah. That was good. Like, it felt like a 3D version of the old Donkey Kong games. I quite liked it, but...
Bonanza looks like a healthy mix of, like, third person and, like, side-scrolling. Yeah, like a mix of both.
Wait. Does that mean we're gonna get back the DK crew?
Mayhaps.
DK, Donkey Kong.
And that's a DMCA. Damn. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, I said that so perfectly.
Yeah. So going along, we got Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. It looks like it might also have a Nintendo Switch 1 release as well for it, but it's still an upcoming title.
Yeah, it seems like it'll probably have one on both. Like
Yeah.
it'll have an old and later one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that because I used to play like Metroid Prime on the GameCube back when they had that.
Yeah, for me, being the old man that I am, I'm actually more attuned to the side-scrolling Metroids than I never really got used to the first-person ones.
I like the first person ones because it has a level, like, for me anyways, first persons are always a little bit more immersive for me. So
Well, that's understandable too. It's just that
Yeah.
I didn't play them when I was a kid, so my Metroid is side scrolls, so I just don't see it.
yeah, fair enough. Also got Kirby Air Raiders. Riders, Air Raiders. Fucking World War II all of a sudden. Oh no.
Oh my god.
Kirby's
Which
dropping
side
bombs.
is Kirby on? No.
Yeah, since he's on the star, which means he's airborne, he's doing the air raids.
I was gonna say, oh no, is Kirby a kamikaze flyer?
Oh, oh
Wait.
no.
Wait, no.
No.
Wait, no.
No.
No. Wait, no.
We're just gonna gloss through that one, okay? We're just gonna.
I think I just broke one of the rules of the podcast. It's
No, we're good. We're good. We're fine. We're fine. Everybody, we're fine.
fine. We're fine.
We're fine. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
It looks interesting though. Like, I mean, I never played Kirby Air Ride. To be fair, I like the regular Kirby games better,
Yeah.
but that's just nothing wrong with it. I think it's a pretty well loved, pretty loved game. So I don't see why this one would be any worse unless they really screw it up.
I'd be shocked if they screwed up. The gameplay was actually kind of solid.
Uh-huh.
Lord Sakurai can do no wrong, and this has been proven time and time again.
Oh no.
Maybe the one time
Anyway.
with Smash 4.
Yeah.
With which?
Smash 4.
Which one's that? That's not the
3DS
latest
and
one.
Wii U.
Oh yeah, well, it was still perfectly fine. They just weren't as good as they could be. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we don't talk about the handheld one.
Moving along, we got
Moving along.
we got Dragon Drive.
Drag X Drive.
Yeah. Well, Dragon Drive is what Drag X Drive. Whatever. I
I don't even know what that is.
I'm gonna be honest.
Nor I.
Not looking. I'm probably not gonna be the biggest fan of that game. It looks more like a tech demo for the new Joy-Con than anything.
Well, it says in this
Yeah.
description I got in front of me, it says shows off the mouse and motion control capabilities of the Joy-Con 2 controllers.
Yep, that's exactly what it
It's-
does.
Wait, so the Joy-Con 2s, this is something that new to me, is like they work like a mouse?
They work like a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
If you
That's
flip them over onto the connector side where it links to the console, you could drag it around like a mouse.
Oh, cripes.
Yeah.
But it's funny because the one other game that they recommend that you do that style with is
Metroid Prime.
it's Civ.
Oh,
Well, fair enough.
Civilization 7.
yeah.
It makes sense that a Civilization game would work better with a mouse.
They did
So.
show it off for Metroid Prime as well to give you more
Oh,
of
yeah.
like a keyboard and mouse feel, kind of.
Standard
say-
FPS experience.
Objectively speaking, first-person shooters are better with a keyboard and mouse.
Well, I'm willing to bet like that's gonna come in handy for games like Overwatch 2.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could already see right now that it's gonna allow like a little bit of an edge over the console players.
Especially if
Controller
they're porting
normies.
Fortnite.
Yeah, especially if they're
All
playing
that
Fortnite or Overwatch, which I'm gonna be honest, the Nintendo Switch does kind of need that competitive edge to it. Because as of right now, with just how the Nintendo Switch 1 handles those titles, it's not great. Like, Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch 1 is far from optimal, and I believe I could probably get some better performance out of my fucking phone for that.
Yep.
Moving along.
That's like the fucked up.
Moving
part.
right along.
What were you gonna say, Subaki?
I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's still the fucked up part about it, that you get better performance on the phone.
Yeah.
The phone outclasses the Switch. How the fuck, Nintendo?
We got Welcome Tour, which is probably going to be the Nintendo Switch 2's, like...
Scam.
Yeah.
It's basically going to be the little robot dude game you get with a PS5.
Oh, it's going to be the
Astrobot?
Yeah, it's going to be the
Astrobot,
Astrobot of the Nintendo Switch console, I guarantee it. Duskbloods, we were talking about that already.
Yeah.
The new FromSoft title from the lovely creators of Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, and Sekiro.
Mm-hmm.
So that's looking good, looking great.
Wish I had more to say on this one, but I'm not huge on the FromSoft games personally. I don't hate them. They're really beautiful games, and they have amazing storyline to them, but the gameplay is the part I'm just not good with. I'll admit, I'm a loser.
So another thing they announced, aside from the normal Nintendo Switch Online library coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, y'all motherfuckers getting GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's looking pretty sweet. That is, I'm looking forward to that.
See, it only made it interesting by a little bit of an idea because, like, okay, they're entry titles into this the Nintendo Switch GameCube collection. I'm shocked that they went with Path of Radiance for Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked that they chose that game because your boy's emulating that shit just fine.
And I mean, I think he means playing it legally for all those other.
I'd rather sail the seven seas and fucking die where I'm standing than pay $500 fucking for a GameCube.
Raise the red flag.
Nice.
Look, I'd rather pay nothing. Get a bunch of files, put them all in a directory, and play the game still as intended.
Yo ho,
Then
brother.
suffer through the scalper market.
Yeah. So coming to the Nintendo GameCube Classic is F-Zero GX,
Solid.
Soul Calibur 2.
Always
That one I was
solid,
actually
man.
shocked at.
Yeah. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, because I mean you got to have a Zelda title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it was Gale of Darkness and Colosseum.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Pokemon
it's-
Gale of Darkness and Colosseum, not in that order. Technically, they go the other way, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then we had Super Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion.
They also
What's Super Mario
finally
Strikers.
added a feature that I've been fucking waiting for, which is the ability to change how your controls are set up.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Because I remember like the issue I had with the Nintendo 64 Classic thing for Nintendo Online was that games like GoldenEye still has the issue of like up is down, down is up.
Yeah, the
Yo.
old 64 controls.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which, like, if you're used to it, you're used to it, but like you have to think it's been fucking years since I played a Nintendo 64.
Yeah, same.
So it's not exactly I'm not exactly jazzed about that one.
I
I'm
tried
glad-
playing GoldenEye with those controls, and I'm just like, I can't play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am glad that they're fixing that though.
That was good.
Yeah.
There was one announcement that actually got me a little bit hyped up.
Was
Out of
it?
the little collection that they chose to do. Speaking of HD remasters that I'm actually kind of hyped up for, the one for Bravely Default,
Oh yeah.
because that was a 3DS title, and that one still had amazing fucking music, and then it's getting a remaster, so I'm just like, oh baby, here we go.
Well, now
Now I just need
I'm
this shit on Steam. Because, like, okay, I'm gonna pitch this to you. So, a game composer, you want to know who the fuck composed the soundtrack?
Fellas.
The leader of the group, Linked Horizon, who did the Attack
Oh,
on Titan
yeah.
openings.
Oh, jeez.
Fucking love Linked Horizon.
He
That
got his
makes-
squad together
They have some bops.
and fucking composed that music.
Wow. Holy crap.
And yes,
I'm not-
they
I'm
did
not
do
big
a live
on- I'm not-
concert for it once.
I'm not big on Attack on Titan, but I'll admit the music kills on that show, so I can.
Uh-huh.
So another thing that's coming to the Switch, my good lads, my good bromigos, Pokemon Legends ZA.
Hell yeah,
Oh,
brother!
yeah.
The return to the Kalos region that everybody didn't want.
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted an actual Pokemon game with that.
We
They
also
don't
wanted
understand how
Nineveh-
it works.
Okay, here's the thing. Not the biggest fan of Legends myself, but I'm willing to give it a try.
I'm gonna put
Yeah.
it down for you right here. Let me tell you something. If you pay attention, they already did a new style game, which was Scarlet and Violet. After that, always comes either now a Legends or a remake.
But
So the next one is very likely to be a new Pokemon game
yeah.
after this.
They also announced a new Hyrule Warriors game.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
I mean, they're good games, but like, really?
What was the one they announced?
Age of Imprisonment, where you travel to the fucking past as Zelda
Yeah.
during the War of Imprisonment. That was meant for Raoru. That sets up the events that then travel through the fucking future and ripple, and then it turns itself into a goddamn time loop.
Wait, is it when they imprison Ganondorf, like for the first time?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's when they imprison Ganondorf for the first time, and then
Basically, the
explain all
storyline.
the Zonai shit.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I see the
The storyline that you see bits of in Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking
it's
at
fully
a couple of
realized
the,
and it actually
screenshots for
transitions
it.
into what would be like post Zelda being weird and fucking off, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a Legend of Zelda game without Link.
Yes, it's actually going to be a Legend of Zelda.
Wow. For the
Wow.
first time. Actually, the second time, because there is already
The second time.
a Legend of Zelda where you play as Zelda, so yeah.
I mean, you could play as Raru. You could play as Raru.
Don't
I
fucking
could.
count.
I
I
don't-
could, Shadow, but why?
But why? Why would you
But
do
why?
that?
Why?
Why would you want that?
The thing that I dislike is that, like, looking at the lineup of champions, I have a feeling they're gonna play mostly exactly like the fucking ones for the original
Like Age
Well,
of
for the last
Age of
one,
Calamity.
probably,
Calamity. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you got your Token Goron, you got a Zora, you got your Rito Gerudo. The only two different is Raru and is that Raru's
Zelda
sister?
in weird training.
The
I
rabbit
believe it's the-
Zonai.
I think it's the sister, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that's in the mech suit?
Yeah. Is the one
Yeah.
like would I wonder if you're going to be able to play as Queen Sonia, I think her name was?
I think you might be able to.
Yeah.
Considering the characters they let you play in Age of Calamity, I would be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah.
Hell, base Hyrule Warriors?
Yeah.
Also,
that
should
that shit was
we
so crazy.
should we get into other features of the Nintendo Switch 2?
Do we have
can
to?
if you want.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of times in this podcast. We might as well go over the meat and potatoes of it,
Might as well.
including the sides. You have to go through the sides. Anyways, one of the things a lot of people were mad at is the fact that the game carts now don't have the games on them. They're essentially
Yep.
just keys.
Right, I think I saw something about that on
Yeah.
one of the
Again.
directs.
Yeah.
This is something that's trending as of late in the market. We can no longer own our shit.
It's been like that for a while, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Read the terms of your agreement on Steam and such like that.
Yeah, the whole shtick that actually got people to wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Sleeping Dogs that did that shit. Like the servers went down permanently.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I think it was Sleeping Dogs, if I remember correctly. And yeah,
I think that's an issue where like the non-guarantee that it'll be there in the future is a fucking issue.
Baffling.
Baffling.
Troubling.
Because
Especially if it's a single player game.
Well,
if it can
yeah.
be turned offline.
here's the thing. Give us charge your stupid fucking $80-$90 fucking game price, but let us keep the goddamn games. Otherwise, if it's just going to be a key, why charge that price?
Why charge for physical media?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's stupid.
You can charge for physical media, but just don't remove the access to it.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay,
Charge for the physical
I
media,
know-
but make the physical media actually mean something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, I can mildly understand as to maybe why, they might say, like, hey, we're doing this, and that's probably to avoid emulation.
Well, not
Oh,
only
yeah.
that, it's probably also due to the fact that, like, the games are getting bigger and they probably can't fit the entirety of games onto the carts now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can see that. But at the same time, come on, man.
It doesn't excuse it.
Yeah.
It really don't.
And they play it off as being kind of like the whole thing is basically, well, you can
It's
share it
innovative.
with your friends and you can play with your friends this way and all this kind of thing. And it's like,
But it
Bruh.
removes your access to playing the game yourself.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's the biggest issue, too, is, like, it's like, you could share it with your friends. You understand if I had, like, a physical cart, I could just fucking hand it to my friend, right?
Yeah.
See, I was.
Like-
I remember when Xbox One was screwing up on the things like that back in its launch,
Yeah.
and how that was a big thing. Sony like basically punked them by doing that. It's like, we want to share our games with our friends as they hand the game over to it. It's like, it's not as big of a flex now as it used to be.
Oh, yeah, no.
That was a perfect flex for the time, but it doesn't work the same now because there's not a controversy like that as much.
Mm-hmm. Also, I just want to say something so badly that I was like waiting for this goddamn direct. I was waiting for Fire Emblem news.
Ah,
Of course you
yes.
were.
I was waiting for Zelda
Not a-
news.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you technically got a 2-for-1 deal on that note because of the GameCube announcement, and then
It's Wind Waker and Age of Imprisonment. Those aren't what I would call, like... Okay, Wind Waker, that is...
actual Zelda titles.
Yeah, Wind Waker
Well,
is
now-
like a re-release. I get it. Yeah, sure. But it doesn't, like, the meat and potatoes, like, you want a new Zelda game, you know what I mean? I wouldn't
I
even
agree with that.
I wouldn't even mind another title like Link's Away, like the remake of Link's Awakening.
Sabaki's gonna get lynched for saying that Wind Waker doesn't count.
No, I'm
Because,
gonna
like,
get lynched
Wind
for
Waker
saying.
is one of the...
Wind Waker is a Zelda game, but I meant that by the case of it being that it's not a like
New.
how Shadow put it. It's not
I
a
get,
new
I get
one.
where you're coming from. I'm just saying, careful your wording, because there's a million trillion people that love that game as one of the best Zeldas. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
you can get lynched online. You can get canceled.
All right. You two yap for a second. I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Okay, but
Oh.
okay. The reason why I was waiting for like active Fire Emblem news was because I was just like, okay, this might be the time when they announce something, because it's been on the minds of people for several fucking months now, and it's even been leaked a couple times that there is going to be something that was going to be like announced,
Mhm.
and then this one comes around, nothing.
Not a thing.
Not a fucking thing.
No.
And it had me in a weird chokehold because I was just like, can you not do this to me right now? 'Cause
Can't play with my feelings like this, man.
every time they said, okay, we have one more. And then it's like, okay, we have one more. And I'm like, please. Please. Because the one thing that I'm like waiting for is like not just a remake of one Fire Emblem game. I'm waiting for a remake of 2 Fire Emblem
Mhm.
games, and then maybe a new one. Like those are like the 2 highest ones on my list, because the 2 that need remakes are 4 and 5.
Yeah.
which those are Genealogy of the Holy War and then Thracia 776. I want those games to be brought into our actual limelight as remakes now.
For all the people that
Because-
don't know that they even exist.
Yeah, because it's only been it's been Japan only since its
Yep.
inception, and then there's only been fan translations that are still iffy at best.
I've seen them though. They like even iffy. Like some of those translations have been actually like amazingly good for what they are. But like,
Some will eventually lack.
yeah, nothing would beat an actual remake. So
And like again, I even went literally yesterday. I went down this discussion. I want one artist back for that game,
you do
just so
yes.
that way something is done correctly. But in general, the other thing that like I actually looked into it myself. That was a popular Fire Emblem content creator known as Mangs. He also kind of covered it as like a what would be involved in that type of like a remake, and of course like censorship and all that. And I'm like, they would have to tone down most of it.
Yeah.
And by most of it, I mean maybe split more chapters, because those maps are huge as shit.
Right. Yeah. Because those older ones you were saying before is like they are huge maps.
They are meant for large scale wars.
Yes.
But holy shit.
Which, when you think fact they're on the I think it was on the NES, wasn't it? Or was the SNES?
It's
Well, not the,
so
the SNES, the Japanese versions.
The Super Famicom.
Super Famicom.
But it was at the end. It was at the end of its lifespan too.
Yeah. So it was like pushing everything the Super Famicom could do. Basically.
At the end of its lifespan, and it only made it worse because that's how it tanked its own sales.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta take chances to see if you can make more money.
Yep. And that's why they also then did Thracia 776 a year later. Actually, less than a year later, they released Thracia 776. But, I mainly want those two remade and not as censored for one reason. It's the fact that it actually brings in current topics that are actively going on today as commentary, but then also just still, it's good war drama.
Of course.
That's what the series has been known for. It's a war drama.
And it's fantasy war drama, so it doesn't look exactly like the real drama that we have in the world today.
I mean, shit. You have like okay, you have your main villain quite literally say, "Hey, main character." I was like, "Yeah? You mind if I hypnotize your wife and fuck her?" And that's literally a plot point in that game.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, I can see where that's wrong. But motherfuckers doesn't make a good soap opera drama.
But knowing how Nintendo would do it, would be having a hand in it, they'd probably that probably would definitely be reworded.
Actually, well, I mean, of course they would have to reword what I did as like the abridged version of whatever the fuck that cutscene was.
Yeah.
But I know sure as shit they probably wouldn't tone down as much of it because we've actively seen the series go through atrocities still in Nintendo's like licensing.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
yes.
Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn. You saw the mass fucking genocide of a race of animal, like Transformers.
Racism just alone is in.
It's an active theme.
Yes.
In some of these games, like Three Houses has racism. You kill the CEO of racism in the Golden Deer Route.
Yep. I like
So
how you
it's
call it
funny.
the CEO of racism.
Yes, I called the Golden Deer Route. Let's go kill the CEO of racism.
So it's the best route, is what you're saying.
Genuinely, yes. Story writing is off the rails every now and then, but that's because it's Claude.
Yeah.
But
See, the Golden Deer route. Unfortunately, Claude had an idea. What was Dimitri's one there?
It was because we had Verdant
Wolves?
Wind. Dimitri was the Blue Lions, and then
Blue
Edelgard
Lions.
was Black
Yes.
Eagles.
So, like, unfortunately, Golden Deer you have. Unfortunately, Claude had an idea. You have the Blue Lions. You have, unfortunately, Dimitri got angry. And on Edelgard's, unfortunately, Edelgard was the enemy all along. Spoilers.
Yeah, that's how it would be. But yeah, when it came to this direct, I was waiting for news about Fire Emblem shit, just so I could finally stop my goddamn brain from going like 200 miles per hour.
My boy's
just
dying.
to maybe have a.
Yes.
I'm literally hearing y'all get like hyped up about certain games while I'm over here just like, I feel like a man dying of thirst watching another man drown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in my case, since all I need is another Pokemon game of some sort, and I'm happy, so.
God. Ugh.
What a
I mean,
wild
there was
time.
one unexpected one that I actually was mildly intrigued by.
What's that?
The Project 007.
The what? Oh, right, yeah.
What's this?
It's being made by the Hitman people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a whole new game that's gonna be with James Bond, but it's gonna be made by the people that did Hitman.
Oh. Well, there's some
So-
overlap there, so that could work really well.
Yeah. And honestly, I'd probably play that.
I'd probably give it a shot myself. So,
Ugh.
now that Shadow's back from his drink run,
Your
what else do we want to talk about the Switch 2?
hopes, dreams, what are you looking forward in
All
its
dashed.
future?
All dashed. No.
Hopes and dreams, all dashed, all broken. It's all gone. It ruined everything. I can't believe they stole the wife, the kids, and the house.
Eh.
The wife and kids
Yeah,
would've
you
been
get
fucked, but
over
they
it.
took the house, too.
How do you get
What?
over it? Just buy an apartment in like the roughest part of town, and then you'll be fine after the divorce.
Oh my god.
Don't forget to pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Oh my god.
Or maybe a rope.
Or rope.
Oh. Anyways, I did find it a little bit weird that they announced it so close to the release date.
Yeah.
They didn't give us a lot of time to react.
It's like, hey, here's a brand new console. By the way, it's coming out in 2 months. Bye. Like typically, like
It's only worse.
video
We're
game.
not gonna get any other like direct until then.
Yeah, video game companies tend to like hype it up like at least like around a year in advance. It gets people ready. It gets time for developers to make games. Which I think like the bad thing about the Nintendo Switch 2 is the fact that it's gonna release with not a lot for its exclusive library. Like the majority of Nintendo Switch 2 games that are going to be available at launch is Nintendo Switch 1 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the exception of fucking Mario Kart World. But like
Donkey Kong. Although I guess that is
I
rare.
don't think is Donkey Kong a release title for it?
I believe so.
July.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
I think so.
No, June is the console's release date. So you have
Oh,
to
okay.
you have,
So
you have to wait a
it's
month.
not launch.
You have to wait a month for your Donkey Kong fix. Anyways,
Damn, I can't go banana crazy then.
yeah.
No Bananarama.
No Bananarama. So yeah, that's the yeah.
Yeah?
I'm still irritated that it's an LCD display and not an OLED.
I mean, that's understandable. Understandably annoyed.
Yeah, because like, yeah, it's a bigger screen, but at the same time, it's not like could they?
How much?
like the Switch had OLED for what, like 2-3 years now?
Something
Longer?
like that. Nah, about 2 years, I think.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. They did increase the FPS of it, which cool.
That is good, especially if they're going to try to lean a little more into online gaming stuff.
Yeah.
But that's just the thing is too is that I've again, I'll flex myself as being the oldest guy in the room right now. I have seen many new systems release, and I think I've learned over it is like, yeah, it probably could look like garbage right now, but we'll see what happens when it releases.
Yeah.
Because there's really no way you can 100% figure anything out about it until it's already out.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm one of those people that doesn't buy the thing until it's been roughly probably a year or so. Let them work out the bugs.
Fair enough. I am a person that hops on like new things almost immediately.
Yes, I know. By the way, how is your pre-order for the Switch 2?
I'm waiting for my email to tell me I can buy it. By the way, that's the way the pre-orders work, so that they don't have to deal with scalpers.
Huh, well, I mean, that makes sense. That actually does help consumers.
Yeah.
Because fuck scalpers, pardon my language.
You need a registered Nintendo Online account, and it has to be like an actual account you use. Like, it has to have playtime on it in order for you to be able to qualify for it.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah. That way, like, scalpers just can't make a bunch of Nintendo Switch Online accounts and then use that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, once they hit store shelves, though, I mean, it still might be a bit of a problem. But yeah.
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 Yeah. Also, I'm looking forward to making some Dice Bags gaming videos with the new console.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
It would be interesting.
Do a review.
Do a little review. Maybe get some Nintendo Mario Kart World action going. It'd be nice.
Good.
Yeah.
I know one thing that I'd like toss an idea at you for like gaming content.
Sure.
A fucking long play of a JRPG.
I mean, I'm 100% for that.
Yeah.
But the problem is that JRPGs, I mean, we have to do something to keep it entertaining, or else it probably, because like, unless somebody's coming just to watch literally unnarrated gameplay, they can be a bit boggy on how much time they take.
True.
Another thing
I'm saying this from a place of knowledge.
You also have to realize that, like, depending on the game, Tired Geek and Digi, like, a lot, like, it's just them, and they typically, like, it's best to pick games that are co-op.
Yeah.
Online
cool. Yeah, because, I mean, if we were still in the same place in person, the games we could play, but that's just not how things work out, so.
True.
And then as for me, I'm mostly doing the abridging thing, so I can't always be there for a gaming video. So me doing a, like, long form content, like, typically if I were to do that, it would have to be, like, all one session of recording.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that is something I've been meaning to do, is like a marathon run of something. Ooh. I could probably do that for Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, because I know those games like the back of my hand. I could probably
do a speed run?
Not speed run, but like a marathon play where I just like go through the entire thing.
Come on, man, do the speed run. Show us our strats.
I don't know how to speed run.
You go fast.
Yeah, no shit. I thought you go really, really slow so it looks like you're going fast.
No, you see, that's the hook. You go really slow, and it's like the world's slowest speed run.
Yeah.
See, I will say this though. I think there's like one thing that I believe me and a friend tried that actually made playing like one of the Final Fantasies interesting. So we use this little program called Parsec, and it basically treats your shit like you're doing LAN. And what we chose to do was connect our controllers onto the one monitor, because what it does, it displays whomever is hosting, and you can connect your controller to it. And what that would do is that once you get the controllers and all that shit like settled, you can technically play something like Final Fantasy VI multiplayer.
Interesting. Like, are you... Okay, so I don't know if you guys, either of you have seen our gameplay, our first video in cassette base, but is it a case of where technically you're both in the same world, but you're playing your own game and don't really interact with each other, or is the second player actually there to do something with the first player?
Most of it. So if it's like overworld exploration, the second player doesn't do much. But once combat begins, that's when the second player is able to also like shift around.
Because that's an actual thing in Final Fantasy. You bring up Final Fantasy VI, and I mean, you've activated my trap card. So Final Fantasy VI actually did have multiplayer to begin with, and does exactly that.
And yeah, it's just that system basically, but then apply it to literally every other Final Fantasy.
Interesting.
So by essentially sharing the screen through Parsec, what we then do is just pretty much boot up the game, and then we just start mashing buttons. It's how we've been playing Xenogears as a co-op JRPG beat 'em up combo experience.
Wow. Okay, might have to look into that, Shadow. I think that could make for easing some of our gameplay woes.
Because
yeah, sounds like a good idea.
I will say this much: it's kind of fun with some JRPGs, because some of them are simplistic enough to where it's just like, okay, yeah, I can get behind it doing this, and then others are just like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like the one time when I think I was almost a little bit confused by like a multiplayer experience was a multiplayer mod for Tales of Arise. That was fun, but holy shit. The camera, you have to get used to the camera, because how they have the camera work is that it still follows player one.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's even better when you have like, funny thing, it could go up to 4 players because there's 4 active party members on the field.
You don't get to have camera time though.
Not necessarily, but what it actually, yeah. So what it does, it does pick a location, but it also zooms out based on how far away everybody else is from each other.
Yeah.
But it still has like a little bit of focus on player one. But what you can do in that mod makes my ass laugh so hard with 2 characters. So, and they're both the combo like heavy characters. So they have lots of hits, but not as much damage as you would think. And that is Law and Dohalim. Those 2 fucking characters, you basically just turn the game into Tekken.
Oh.
You juggle your enemy so they cannot touch the fucking ground.
Oh god, that's cheap.
But is it fun?
Oh,
yes.
I would imagine.
We get the fucking big ass hits off like in no time at all. So it's just juggle, big damage, juggle, big damage.
Well, while you're juggling them, if you don't kill them, then that gives the magic users time to blast them.
True, if their spellcasting was actually fast.
Yeah. That's why you juggle them. Give them time to cast it.
True. It's even better on the heavy armors.
It's definitely something I'm going to look into, because that could actually help expand our range of games. Also, it's been brought to my attention too by Shadow that apparently a lot of people liked our playing the Simpsons game way back when.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out ways to make that doable again, but because again it's a couch co-op type game, and Digi is no longer in the same postal code as me, yeah, not as easy.
Parsec's usually the way to do it.
That might be a thing to look into for sure.
Yeah.
You've been kind of quiet, Shadow.
you're-
What do you think of all this?
You're probably gonna have to guide him through the process, Subaki.
True. I mean, I think they have it on their website too as like a little guide.
Yeah,
They usually have
But I
guides.
wouldn't have to do like the guide for controllers.
It's even new to like that's a new concept even for me. But if we could get it down, that would open up a lot of doors in the future.
It would.
Anyways, folks, I think that should be relatively good for this week's episode.
Yeah.
Seems good to me.
Got a nice 50 minutes of podcast time going. Next week, I might have a neat little treat.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Actually, it won't be next week. It'll be the week after because...
I was already pushing the goalposts back.
Yeah. No, after this, So it's going to be this episode, and then I'm going to release the video game soundtrack episode.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do a little treat on the next one.
Hell yeah.
So we've been hard at work doing the Fate Apocrypha episode 2 editing, or at least I have. We got some stuff that we can show now, and might do a little movie time, little bit of a movie time. The issue with that is it's hard to preview stuff using YouTube because of how fucking dialed in the copyright ID claimer is.
Yeah, especially for things to do with Fate.
Yeah. We are also working on a new project, but that won't be announced until production has started on it.
Yeah, gotta keep you guessing.
Yeah, gotta keep you guessing, but it's a newer anime that has recently been greenlit for a season 2, so we're gonna abridged half of season 1 for now. They'll be fun. It'll be a great time. People that are going to be working on it so far, script's most likely just going to be me. Might get Tsubaki in on that, not sure. Sound editing is probably going to be done by Tsubaki, like usual.
Sound man.
Everything else, probably me, including the soundtrack and vocal editing.
Look, I gave you an idea for that soundtrack, homeboy.
You did give me a decent idea for that, and I also shot some ideas out there too that I think would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for tuning in on this week's episode of the Dice Bags Entertainment Podcast. I've been TwitchShadowVO here with Subak
And me, Clayton the Tired Geek.
and Clayton the Tired Geek. Anyways, we'll see you. We'll see you, mother people, next week. Bye.
You nice, wonderful people.